Hi guys. Welcome to an episode of Learn the IELTS the Easy Way with Teacher Fish. In today's video we will focus on the strategies in speaking naturally. Be sure to watch the series of videos where we will talk about the things you must do in order to get a high, if not a perfect band score in IELTS speaking. Whenever you are engaged with the IELTS speaking part, always keep in mind that the most important thing to do is to speak. While it is normal to feel shy and nervous on test day, remember that the examiner cannot give you any score if you don't talk. Surely, you've spent hours and hours of practice for this big day. So it is the time to showcase what you prepared for. However, just speaking for the sake of having something to say will definitely not be enough. And so, the first strategy in answering questions that are thrown to you is to use the so-called natural English. Let us put it in a clearer perspective. Imagine a native speaker of English, say for example an American doctor who wants to work in London, takes the IELTS without any preparation from books, but earns a band score of 9. How, you may ask? Now let me first clarify the matter. It is not always automatic that a native would score perfectly on the speaking part, but as the example says, American doctor. Well, we can say that the guy is an educated native. So since the doctor is an educated person, he is known to have close to perfect grammar, and very good level of vocabulary. This means that he can speak English easily, fluently, willingly, and best of all, he does not pretend or lie. In doing this, he uses all the features of natural speech, which proves his high speaking ability to the IELTS examiner. Let us look at some features of natural speech. In the English language, there are a lot of these features, but we will just have a few of them that are useful to make your responses sound natural. One is what we call discourse markers. These are expressions that we use to start and end a discussion. In addition, we use discourse markers to connect, organize, and manage what we say. Look at this example excerpt from a conversation.
So, I've decided to go to the fish shop and buy those magnificent looking autumn angelfish.
That sounds like a good idea.
Well, you need to add beauty to your fish tank.
Right.
Anyway, I was wondering if either of you could help me acclimate them in my fish tank.
In this situation, the discourse markers have a number of uses. So, marks the beginning of the conversation. Well, marks the change in focus from getting those autumn angelfish to needing to add beauty to the fish tank. Right marks a response of agreement, and anyway indicates a shift in topic, from buying autumn angelfish to seeking help for the acclimation of the fish. Here is a list of common discourse markers in speaking. Anyway, like, right, you know, fine, now, so, I mean, good, oh, well, as I say, great, mind you, okay, for a start. Another feature of natural speech is called informal grammar. Now do not be confused with informal grammar and wrong grammar. Informal grammar simply means the use of more casual and spontaneous grammatical structure to add flavor to a speech or response. It is like what I call everyday English, expressions that we use when we talk to our friends or family members about usual activities or routine. Remember that informal grammar, aside from adding flavor to your response, conveys a more personal approach than formal grammar. Thus, a tool that you need for your IELTS speaking responses, since it makes you sound more naturally. Remember the American doctor example. Anyway, here is an example of informal grammar. Formal. The balloon was inflated for the experiment. Informal. The balloon was blown up for the experiment. Another example is with the use of contraction. Formal. Purchase cannot be made due to budget constraint. Informal. Purchase can't be made due to budget cuts. The next feature of natural speech is by using colloquial expressions. Like idioms, these expressions are not formal or literary. They are accepted in everyday speech but not in academic writing. But the IELTS is a test, so shouldn't I be using formal expressions? Again, remember the previous feature of natural speech, informal grammar. Being less formal doesn't mean you are doing it the wrong way. Instead, doing so adds a more personal touch to your speech. And besides, the two sections of the IELTS, speaking and writing, although measure your ability to use the language, have their distinctions too. Speaking tests how well you can communicate in daily situations, while writing tests your ability to communicate in a more formal manner. Anyway, here are some examples of colloquial expressions. Kind of, which is less formal than similar to. And a little bit, which is a substitute for a small amount. Then we have pop into my head, which means I thought of a new idea. And hit the jackpot, which is an informal way of saying to experience good fortune. So for our last feature of natural speech, we have hedging or hedges. They are used to express uncertainty or degree of certainty. Often when speaking, we may not be sure the claims that are being made, or perhaps our ideas are good, but the evidence is rather not strong. And so, we resort to using hedges. Here are some samples of hedges in speech. Perhaps, maybe, might, possibly, so to speak, to some extent, and roughly. Moving on. Another way to show that you speak the English language naturally is by using what we call beat. Remember that English is a stress-timed language, which means that there is regular beat when speaking it. Imagine how a native speaker would say, "What are you doing?" He or she would not say, "What are you doing?" Instead, he might pronounce it as, "What are you doing?" In sentences, putting stress on key words while the other words are not stressed, are not said very strongly would give the sentence a rhythmic sound, or again what we call beat. By the way, the words that aren't stressed are called weak forms, where certain words, usually less important words, are pushed together. Again, looking at the example where the phrase, "are you," became, "aya." You will hear these weak forms all the time when listening to how a native speaker talks. Now, these aren't bad or wrong pronunciation, it is natural pronunciation, and in the IELTS, this beat is rewarded by the pronunciation band descriptor. Now here are some rules to follow when adding beat to the way you speak. First, when saying items in a series or list, stress the items. For example, I am preparing for the reading, listening, speaking, and writing parts of the IELTS. Next, put stress on key nouns. That is, content words rather than grammar words. For instance, the IELTS is easier than the TOEFL. Another is that we usually put stress on adverbs of attitude, since they have a great deal of content, such as, actually, I prefer the IELTS than the TOEFL. Finally, put a stress for emphasis. That is to make your point stronger. Again, for example, I really find these tips helpful. Put all the rules together, and you'd notice that your speech would have the so-called beat. So now, here is a short exercise for you to practice what you've learned from our lesson. Try to read aloud a sample IELTS response from part 1 of the test. I intentionally typed the words that you need to put stress or to emphasize in bold. Read it several times until it becomes natural to you, and you will notice that you'd start speaking with beat. I'll start. Actually, I prefer dogs. You see, I have personal experience with dogs. I grew up with them and I really admire their grace, loyalty, and attitude to life. I remember a poster I once read that said, "Dogs have masters, cats have servants." And guess what? I actually like that attitude in dogs. Seeing them obey their masters make me feel relaxed. Now your turn. On a final note, the features of natural speech and the beat do not come by remembering sentences or thinking too much of the strategies. We are just starting to learn techniques that would help improve your speaking ability. So, doing such, I mean, if you memorize and calculate, there is a great chance that you'd end up speaking unnaturally and in an inappropriate way. Thus, your score will be lowered because of these reasons. So, the best way is to practice the first two strategies I gave until they become natural to you. And so, we have come to the end of our IELTS lesson, Speaking Naturally. Please do not forget to press like, subscribe to my channel, and turn on that notification bell so you'd be updated every time I upload a new IELTS lesson video. There are other IELTS lesson videos on the channel, so please check them out. For questions, feedback, comments, or suggestions, you may use the comment section and I will do my best to attend to them ASAP. And so, see you on the next episode of Learn the IELTS the Easy Way with Teacher Fish. And, always keep in mind, the IELTS is not difficult if you know what to do.